We want good news. We want good news. No more bad news. Give us good news. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 99 of Tactical Crouch. Kick Tripod, joined by Yiska and Volamel. We want some good news. We're not going to get some good news. But you know what? Let's start with some good news. Let's start with some good news. Let's just do it. Let's just, you know what? We make our own show. And we can add good news in wherever we want. First of all, good news is we're all here. Hey, good to see you. Hey, chat. Y'all are looking fabulous today. Another good news. This is episode 99, which means that on Monday, we have episode 100. And on that episode, we have none other than the man himself, Christopher, from the Philadelphia Fusion, coming by. He mentioned in Yiska's Discord, he's like, I'm due for another pod appearance. And so we made that happen. So he will be with us on Monday to celebrate 100 episodes. We made it 100 episodes. Can't believe it. So there's some good news for you. Trying to think if I have any other good news. I don't have any other good news except that we have games this weekend. That's going to be fun to talk about.
I suppose, but through all of this, somehow, some way, tier 2 players found a way to get into Overwatch League. If the ESPN report is to be trusted,
I guess.
That's a good thing, right?
The path to pro works.
I suppose
Indeed it does.
The path to pro works. All right, here we go. Let's go into the news, and then we'll have a big sad party. Big thank you to our patron producers: Battlecrab Pin Lotion, Charlie L Audio Compass, Pork Chop, Sammy, Kasha 67, Coochie Kopi, Shara Picasso, Nathan, and Your Misery. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If you want to support the show right now, there's 3 really incredible ways to do it. The first one is to go to patreon.com/tacticalcrouch. Sign up to be a patron there. You get some access to some cool perks, as well as we do like game nights every month and all that kind of stuff. And if you're a patron producer, we thank you multiple times every week on the show. We'll say your name, even if your name is 69. We'll say that right here on the air. Another great way is we are going for partnership right now on Twitch. So a great way to support for free is just to tune in on the Twitch stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. We do Spike Drop on Friday, and then of course Tactical Crouch Monday and Wednesday at noon. Last but not least, leave us a 5-star iTunes review, or honestly, not even before that, subscribe on Twitch. We got new emotes coming. They should be in by Monday or Wednesday of next week. And they're so good. We showed the people in the pre-show one of the emotes, and it's insane. It's so cool. All right. So without further ado, that's all the stuff. But now we need to talk about the bad stuff. So the Vancouver Titans had a very creatively named message to our fans, or is it called a letter to our fans? A letter to our fans, which I think is the same title that John Spector used.
A letter to the Overwatch League.
A letter. I think it's just a letter to our fans.
Yeah.
So first of all, remember last week when I said, "Hey, the intern who wrote this really bad part of this thing, fire him"? I think I found out where they went. I think I found where they went, because oof, this reads really bad. But let's give you the highlights before we break in. So, the Titans have released or parted ways with all the players, right? All the players and coaches that I'm not missing anybody, right? It's broke about 20 minutes before the show and I was setting stuff up. So everybody's gone. That's not like management, upper management, that kind of stuff. So everybody is gone. But other than that, this letter kind of pissed me off.
It's a nothing burger.
I mean, there's substance in there. And if you turn shit around, you got a good idea.
You got to really peek through those curtains.
On opposite day, this letter is perfect. Fuck him. Honestly.
So here's the thing. And this is something that's been an issue for a long time. And chat's like, well, what are they supposed to say? We live in a situation now where people understand PR statements, and PR statements that are seen as PR statements end up being worse than just owning up to the mistake specifically before the organization.
True. Yeah.
So that's what they should have done differently. They owned up to nothing. In fact, what they did is they said, we provided world-class facilities. We provided blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
we accommodated the players in every single way that we could have possibly have accommodated them. And I'm not saying that the training facility didn't look awesome. I'm not saying that they were bad on accommodations at all. I'm not even trying to say that. I think there's a lot of stuff that we don't know.
It's just weird. What? Bring that up. What's the point?
You have to make sure you remind people of all that you did and everything you said correct and all the cool achievements you did as a team, and then the last two paragraphs are complete, just like the goal and the legacy will never be forgotten, and we as the Titans will forge onward, just like the Titans of 1945 and the Battle of the Alamo and all of this
1945 Battle of the Alamo.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What? That's what you have to say when you drop the most historic team in the history of the Overwatch, the game?
Remember when John Spector said last week that he understands why it was tough for Overwatch League players to play under such sad circumstances?
Yeah, it was the kitchen. It was too hot.
Yeah.
We had to leave.
Yeah,
the kitchen was too hot.
That was kind of the same thing. It was just like players can't handle this, and I call bullshit on this one.
Okay. The thing is, they won't care. They have demonstrated to have no moral compass whatsoever, right? So here's how we get them. We make the rest of the Overwatch League teams realize how big of a blunder that is and how much that will impact business. And it will 100% do so. It's impossible not to. Somehow, the biggest storyline in Overwatch history went poof. There's no way to bring it back. So from what I've heard, of course, some players have been reached out to and have received offers, but dude, it's the value that is lost here on the league that is already in the downward spiral is absolutely insane. I don't think people realize that Sinatra's retirement is really dwarfed by all of this. When all of this is said and done, and that is going to absolutely also devalue your own franchise. You are going to lose money on this mismanagement. It is inevitable going to happen. And I hope everyone's making a big stink about how much of a mismanagement this was.
Who would ever want to work with you ever again?
Yeah.
Who in God's
people
greener?
Who need to, right?
I suppose,
people that
but
need
that's not what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is I will say this, and I want to be very clear because I've already seen on Twitter that some people are misrepresenting the anger and frustration with the organization and ownership with the people who are actually involved in the running day to day, like the social media managers, the community managers, the mods.
Yeah, they don't
the
have
fans. This is not towards them. Let's just be very clear.
No.
This is at the organization, the decision makers who made a poor decision, and how they should have owned up to it is we here's you want to know how this is PR speak? read the press release, and anytime they say we, it's followed by a positive spin statement. Every time they say the organization, it's followed by a negative spin statement. Every single time. From all of us at the Vancouver Titans, we would like to thank these players and the coaches. And then with the organization unable to meet the expectations of players in Korea, like just constantly, it's just so bad. It's a bad look for the league. It's a bad look for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, so where do we, Yiska, where do we go from here?
Only up.
Do we go only up? I don't know.
Yeah, there's something that could still, like, of course, it can always theoretically get worse, but likelihood of it getting better is now, I think we're firmly settled down.
Are you sure? I'm not sure.
Maybe we're at the bottom of the valley, but there's still a block which we can tumble over. There's definitely like minor things, not to the same degree, of course. Just like, the good old player drama or whatever.
Sure.
Like that type of stuff is always going to happen, but like nothing that's systemically like that hints towards systemic breakdown of any larger institution within this system. Maybe we'll see.
I mean, this stuff just develops day by day. It feels like.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like it might be silver linings today, but it could be complete TNT meltdown. The reactors are burning. It's the tsunami's hitting. It's going into the ocean type of stuff at this point tomorrow. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel.
It's just I think now I'm getting kind of a euphoric feeling because I actually really think this was the thing that really weighed on my soul for a while.
Yeah.
And now that it's out and now that we know what's going on, whatnot.
It's like a sigh of relief. Like, oh, phew.
I mean, that said, 5 seconds before the show, I was close to crying. So what do I know what after show is going to be like? But yeah, it's an unbelievable situation that I think hopefully we'll learn that from this as a system and make sure that something like this can never happen again.
Yeah.
And we make rules and regulations that prohibit this from happening unless it's heavily penalized. I.e., for instance, let's make a rule
that's a good point.
That you maybe can never drop. So you have hypothetically at the start of the season, you have to mention 4 core players, and of them 3 must remain at all times throughout the season, or something like this. Just so we don't have, and then make a rule if there's some ridiculous circumstances, right? Like just like catastrophes happening. Like,
sure.
For instance, let's say the team house is infested with someone catches COVID, they are all out for a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Then like if they need to recover, whatever. Okay. That in these clauses. But there has to be some continuance to this. And as much as you want to try, this league is not about the teams as long as we are so much in love with the players and the teams that are within them. The esports is personality and team driven, not org driven. Especially if it's such a fabricated thing that you need to grind 10, 20 years in order for us to get any attachment to the point of, let's say, something like a Complexity, who has grinded esports for 20 years now, right?
Sure, like so, Liquid, TSM, those kind of big names.
Exactly, yeah. And with that in mind, I think we just need to step forward bold-faced into the future. I honestly think we as a community can just look up now and just like look, okay, what's next, and start the upswing. Because like in every tragedy, there's opportunity. And
sure,
when systems break down, it gives you the permission to do radical things to your system. And I think it's unarguable that constitutes a breakdown, and we need a system overhaul. And we need to have a preferably open discussion, or even if it's just with all the GMs, and come together and honestly save the scene. We are in a saving situation.
Yeah.
We're not in a maintaining situation. We're not fighting for the 0.5% viewership increase. We're fighting for the survival of this league.
Yeah.
And with those regulations and introducing competitive integrity once everything is back to normal, I'm not faulting for anyone for that being a problem at the moment, of course. But I think also with the starting point of Overwatch 2, we have an amazing opportunity to just drag this card out of the mud. And this, if I didn't believe that, I would just wallow in despair, just like a sad blob. And that's just what I'm feeling right now about this.
Let's talk about the Titans play this weekend.
Yep. Sure do.
Presumably. And there was an article posted by ESPN with speculation on the team or players being picked up. And it will be, and so this is straight from ESPN. We don't have any firsthand confirmation from any of us on this that's being talked about, but sources.
ESPN, if you want to say if anything of this is wrong, you're going to hand over ESPN. I'm here. I take that bet.
You take that bet?
Yeah.
All right. Heard it here first. Says sources familiar with the team's plans told ESPN that the Titans will sign 5 players from Contenders team Second Wind. And let me throw that up on the stream for you. It's Dalton, Caden, Shredlock, Higan, and Rolf. Those are the 5 players being, I'm excited to see Dalton there. But other than that, Joe, you don't look very happy.
I mean, not the first choice, right? This can't be the first choice.
Dude, this is the path to pro. Tier 2 team making it an Overwatch league.
Who else are they going to sign? No, this isn't the path to pro. This is emergency. I need an amputee to come in and play for me at the moment. I need to sever my arm because it's so infected. Drastic measures have to be taken. This is not the path to pro, guys. Come on. This is drastic times. There's no it's COVID. They are strangled by this, and they have to do something. And obviously, the league doesn't want just a complete forfeiture for the rest of the season. But let's not spin this to path to pro. It's the success of tier 2 guys.
I was being.
I feel like that's lying. I know you are, but there are genuinely people out there yeah, we did it. It's you didn't do anything. They did wrong. Now you have to go and promote yourself and probably lose.
There's a few things though, I think that is worth bringing up because it is one hand tied behind the back and signing players right now too, right? Number one, you have an organization that is shedding any sort of loyalty and positive customer sentiment daily and has been for the past month ever since the rumors started coming out. So you already are going to have, kind of big players probably be really hesitant to make that. Number two, you have to get a team that you are positive can get the proper paperwork and whatever else that they need to be able to compete. Right. Yep. So you presumably probably go North America based on just rumors about what playoffs and grand finals end up looking like if they do go in person. So who would you sign, Joe, if you had to go North America? Is there anyone else that you'd sign differently?
Gonna stop you there. No idea.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you. Like if you can't get somebody like Team Doge, the former Envy Academy team, if that's not feasible, I couldn't tell you. I'm not equipped. I don't watch tier 2 guys.
Unless it's
don't
China.
have it in me anymore. I'll lambast me, whatever. I get it. Don't have time in the day.
Yeah.
Team Doge seems good. Is Second Wind the roster that you really want to put your money on? I don't know. Is that what you have to do? Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. It's nice to see
my
Rolf,
problem
though.
with this comes from the top, though. We have to trace this all the way back. It's not necessarily like, oh, well, is Second Wind, like, why put yourself in that situation? How did you f up this bad? How? That's where I start my gripe. My gripe. How do you mess this up?
Fair. Yiska, what did you just type to me? Can you explain that to me in chat? Or what you typed?
Yeah. Okay.
Nice
so
transition,
apparently, right? Yeah. Sorry. Apparently, and I have yet to read the full ESPN piece, but apparently, I think Fissure said that the Titans will not be paid for the remainder of their contracts. Now, there are ways where this is not egregious. And here's how the way of that works. You're released from your contract with a maybe hope that you're going to be picked up by a team and you don't have to pay a buyout at all, which makes it way easier in this current situation for another team to pick you up.
Sure.
If that's the reason they're not receiving additional salary, and that's something maybe they've negotiated between the players and the org, and I don't have any information on that, then that's a fine thing. If it is because there has been a contract breach, because according to ESPN, they've boycotted participating in the upcoming matches from Korea, then it's perhaps a different story depending on the type of how that went down. And there I reserve judgment. But it would have to be, from my contract, my knowledge of Overwatch League contracts, a very serious circumstance in which you could be thrown out of your contracts. And of course, the instances of that happening, I mean, do I have to name names? That's,
yeah.
I think
some
two names immediately pop up in everyone's mind.
Yeah.
And in those cases, of course,
now, are you saying
throw them up to the wind and then no salary, of course?
So you're saying that that could also be a possibility, like the severity of these circumstances could be a reason why they were, let go of their contracts.
Theoretically, I'm not inferring whatsoever. I actually don't know. I don't know anything about what happened.
But it's a possibility.
That's
theoretically speaking,
based on that on that contract stuff that they theoretically could not be, or terminated their contract based on that. I have no information on that. It would surprise me if that concerned everyone.
Yeah. It seemed that seems like a pretty.
Here's the thing. I don't want to speculate too much because it always sounds like I know something, and in this case, I really don't. But the way they phrased the names in the announcement in their letter was weird, wasn't it? It's like, we released these players and Fissure.
I mean, it was to the point that I kind of mentioned in the pre-show. Wasn't it the fact that he had like a bizarre contract in the first place that were kind of like recused him of being able to leave? So is that just a formal way of getting him out?
That could,
you know what I'm saying? Like, is that some sort of loophole that they had to go through to kind of like release him from his contract without like technically releasing him?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of details that, again, we're just not privy to.
Yeah. That
it does look very strange. Like, on its face, it looks very bizarre, but with added context, it's like, okay, well, maybe there's like a reasonable explanation for this. I don't know.
Yeah. That's also an important thing, because I hate nothing more than a good argument made badly. Like, if we want to,
Dude, why you gotta call me out on the show like that? Like, I'm right here.
If we want to be honest about the things that Vancouver Titans did wrong as a management, we cannot just give them everything and say they did everything wrong and they were not at all in their right to do
100%.
this. So as long as we don't have any information on that, it is very possible that they were entirely in their right and also morally justified in pulling those strings. It is. I don't have any information. So let's make that point very clearly. And then when we find out, we can once again reassess that situation. But let's not lump in all these things and say they're not being paid, at this point, when there are ways out of this without that being totally egregious.
Yes.
There are ways. All I'm saying.
There are ways that players can hold things hostage, let's say. Not again, this is speculative territory. I don't know. But to say that it's all one party's fault, probably not the case. Is it a majority? Well, we don't know. I can guess it was probably majority of the organization's fault. If it started, let's say again, a rough timeline of events, COVID happens, they want to go back, the org pushes back on them. They give in, so they move the players. There's not a lot of, under the understanding that there's not a lot of resources for them, in Korea. We can't really provide you with a lot of resources because this is so last minute. The players are cool with it. Then they're not cool with it. They demand, XYZ, or isn't there, or just doesn't respond, or is very late to respond. The players get very mad. They get madder, and now are rioting and removing socials.
And this is once again, I have to make the caveat. We often lay breadcrumbs on this show. This is not one of those instances.
No.
This is not where you go with your literature interpretation of the Tactical Crouch podcast.
Put down the candy.
Sorry? This is entirely like a information public. From the information we have public, trying to piece together what this timeline looked like. We have the details from that Reddit post from the Vancouver Titans podcast that kind of say we needed to move these players. The players wanted to be moved under no obligation of the organization. They had to throw it in there, of course. We didn't have to, but we did because we're nice guys. We moved the players under the assumption that they were not going to have very many resources. That makes sense to me. A lot of this makes sense. It's where the gray area is, and it seems like communication again. Haha, funny Blizzard, Activision organizations not communicating. It seems like a constant theme. But in this case, that's where it feels like a lot of the problems lie, is that both parties were not communicating with one another until it blew up, until the players decided we're not going to take this anymore. And again, speculation, disclaimer. That's kind of where my working theory of how this works, how the Titans fell, as it were, is working at the moment. It seems very much organization favored. The players are kind of retaliating. Maybe not in the proper channels, but yeah.
We'll see. Have we done being Are we done being bummers?
I mean, can continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
He has one more bummer message.
All right.
And then we're good. The reality is, now that I think about it over, of course, there is still some down swings left to be seen, because the possibility of picking up 8 players this last minute during a global pandemic, as Wolf pointed
7 now, by the way.
7, sorry, yeah. Janu is then 8th, right? And of course, yeah, Jae Hong said he's going to take a break.
A small break, yeah.
He talked about, yeah. Some of them will retire. I think that's almost a given, given the situation. A lot of them, in this, like, how long can you do without a salary? How long can you love this game still? And even if you love the game, how long can you be thrown around between these title forces. And this will really deeply suck to lose them, because they are Overwatch Hall of Famers and Overwatch history.
Oh, most definitely. First ballot.
Yeah, that will certainly be another down point when those messages trickle in. And we've, of course, Jaehong being Jaehong, he's going to give it another shot at 28, and it's admirable.
He's a lifer, man. He might just be a lifer. He might just be in when he's 40, you know, grinding StarCraft 18, whatever it is. He just might be the
Daigo way, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can't fault him for it. You know, he might not be the best. He was at one point, but you can't take that away from him. You have to respect the cojones that you have to deal with this. Because it's, you know, drama like this, you know, problems like this are not relegated to borders. It happens everywhere. Yeah. Korea has their problems. The States have our problems. EU has their problems. Everybody's got problems. Even, you know, before COVID and post COVID, we'll still have those same problems. So in being able to put up with that for as long as he has, that's commendable. That's a Medal of Honor award if I had ever had to give one out.
And I just want to shout out one great piece I read on the topic by Bonnie. Currently not upvoted on the subreddit, which is ridiculous to me. Great piece, really nailing it from a Runaway fan point of view. But also really, if you're a fan of Overwatch, I think you will find yourself in this piece a lot. If you're a growing adult, trying to find meaning in the things that you do, I think you will find a lot of value from that. Just an amazing piece, so give that a read.
It's a brave one too, because she does a good job at showing her hand on what she's trying to do, like immediately. It's not like some sort of like creative hidden way of trying to paint a picture. She kind of paints by numbers with you on exactly what she's going to do, and then does it, and it's still wonderful. So I would say it's very much a writer's piece.
Yeah, that
I took a lot from it. It's a good one.
It's also what it gets right is just that in a way there's really importance in the things that those are the narratives that we take with us. Like we talked last time about the subconscious effects of our environment. By consuming Overwatch content, something like this becomes part of you. It becomes part of your value system. It becomes part of your worldview to a degree. It becomes part of your history. And to have something so abruptly ripped outside of you should make you feel something as an Overwatch fan. And I think if you look closely, especially now, it's like, yeah, we'll see them next weekend, right? No. Apparently we will see Second Wind. So maybe notice something in yourself there and what we miss. And maybe to a degree, try to find these almost literary analysis type of approaches to reading, interpreting pro play and esports. And you will find that the value that almost this competition brings to you can reach, to me, honestly, spiritual levels. And I'm overselling it a little bit here, but the importance that it can give, because entertainment is never just like only
never just entertainment.
Whatever comes out, comes out. That is you now. Just as the stuff that you eat is part of you. So just be a little bit mindful, look into yourself, what that does, what it meant to you. It's also, of course, like in that loss, there's also an opportunity to gain from that. And if that piece from Bonnie can help you do that, that's amazing. Certainly framed some of the emotions I had around this.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Should we play the thing? We'll play the thing.
Go for it.
Let's do it.
You're being such a bummer.
All right. Thus concludes being a bummer. And now it is time to start talking about next week's matches. So let's first and foremost, let's talk about the upcoming hero pools. Ash, Reaper, Reinhardt, Brig, gone. Joe?
Yep, they're gone.
Do we need to let it sit another minute? Do we just need to like sit in silence for like 15 seconds? Do some arm circles? Or are we ready?
I don't know. That's
it felt like kind of a hard turn, didn't it?
A little bit.
Well, it's good. I shook it off. I really like. I'm just. It's right now down there on the floor.
Hard
It's a little puddle of misery.
Yeah, hard pivot.
No, but did those hero pools come out? Just I was looking at them. That's why I was stayed up on Sunday. Is that what just was released? That information.
No,
When was that released?
On Sunday, after you went to bed.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Why was
Remember,
it nowhere? Why can I not find that on the
over
Overwatch League website? Why can I not find that on the subreddit?
I don't know.
So the bands are Brig, Ash,
Brig, Ash, Ryan.
I give these guys show notes every week, and they're in the show notes.
Ash, Reaper, Ryan, Brig. Yeah.
How did you find them, John? Teach me your ways. Wait,
I used the spreadsheet that Eric put together for us. They're also in that
they
spreadsheet
update
too.
the same article.
Yeah.
That is stupid. Never mind then.
They tweet a lot, but yeah.
All right. Anyways,
comes to bands.
Ash, Reaper.
Hope you like Double
Ryan,
Shield.
Brig. That's your takes. Double Shield.
It's May's open, McCree's open. I really don't see Echo lasting. I think she could probably fit in Double Shield. We saw it last week. Maybe McCree shuts her down. Hard to say. Maybe she'll be better on. I don't even know if in like open maps are going to be that good because McCree's open, Widow's open. You don't have Brig to give her extra armor. You don't have Brig to give Tracer armor. You don't have Brig to give Sombra armor. I don't see Dive being strong. Double Shield has a lot of, teams have a lot of practice on Double Shield and these kind of slower rush comps, or I guess poke comps with Orisa Sigma. So yeah, I think that's probably going to be the go-to. If Echo is being played, expect Torb, expect McCree, the usual. But yeah, I don't expect Dive to be played. It's kind of a shame that Ash is banned though. There are a lot of teams that have been dabbling with that, so we'll see. We'll see if maybe Echo can find a way to survive a more dedicated hit scan. But I have my reservations on that. But yeah, if you like Double Shield, this might be the week for you. Dive fans, you might want to link up with the Titans fans on this one. Not sure.
Yep. Are there Dive fans?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
I think there's probably more Dive fans than there are Boston Uprising fans.
So 3.
Yeah. There's probably 4 of them.
Got it. All right. Fair enough. Wow, we're so mean.
I remember, how obnoxious I am with my tweets and how I always remember them and then retweet them at the most opportune times to look like I was smart back then.
You're right
but
all
really,
along.
I just shotgun tweets into the universe. I once tweeted all Dive everything. Genji Tracer Dive, like always. I honestly like, maybe we can talk about Echo, but like Genji Tracer Dive with dive tanks and everything, Lucio, Zen. Delete every other hero. Let's just play that into all eternity.
See, this is like
also have Anna in there. That's also fine. I'm
sure.
fine with that.
That's to the point where we're gonna get into like a meta discussion.
Sorry.
That I'm not. You're good. It's all good.
This man is May. This man is May.
I'm down a monitor right now. I'm down a monitor, so I only have 2 monitors to manage everything.
Well, then let down your ice wall. and then you can see the other monitor.
That's not how it works.
There's a meta discussion there that I'm not going to hijack the show with, but if it was good, while other things were good and you had different styles, that would be great. I don't think anybody wants another 2 years of Dive, just like how nobody wanted a year of Goats.
Dude, why am I not somebody?
No.
How
Of course you're somebody.
You're
so
German. You're basically a computer.
There's me. See?
Okay.
So
Is this philosophy? Are you getting like metaphysical on me?
yes, actually,
Okay.
because I'm part of everything and I want Dive, everyone wants Dive, so we should play Dive. Here we go.
If there's anything
That's
I
the logic.
know, Yiska is not the man of the people here on this one.
Really?
You
Because
don't think?
everyone
I
cheered me on.
think the people want Dive.
Oh no,
I
I'm
just
just
don't-
saying.
I don't think
that people
generally
think they want
Yiska
that.
takes
Mhm.
Don't-
No, they aren't.
don't get to be the will of the people.
I think
what I'm
they're
saying.
phrased in ways that everybody can find something within them because they're so like grandiose. Like sometimes you just kind of lose yourself and you're just like, I think I agree
Look,
with him. Yeah.
Look, if my tweet induced a DMT trip in you, I've succeeded as a Twitter.
If your inner
person.
Duncan Trussell comes out and you experience the midnight gospel, he's done his job.
So are you saying back when we had this Dive thing for not as long as Goats, but I would say
Longer than
3/4
Goats.
as long? You think as long as Goats? I guess.
Like originally, yeah. Longer than
Uh,
Goats. Dive is very cool. Dive gets very messy though. New Dive, maybe post Goats Dive, if we were to let that breathe, maybe it's completely different. Hard to say. But I remember having the same conversations with people in the midst of Dive. Everybody was like, okay, we're kind of over this. We want something. We want the next thing.
yep.
It's,
lot of people
I
want-
would love it to be useful. I would love it to be viable, but I don't think anybody wants, year stretches of certain compositions.
Well, I think we talk about variety versus forced variety too,
Yeah.
right? Which I mean, obviously, Hero Pools creates forced variety, which we've clearly seen. People are generally positive about. I would say, players are generally not.
I guess.
The fans that are still watching, like if you look at viewer numbers, there's a lot of
nothing's really changed, guys.
there's a lot of factors there that we're not going to get into.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. Here's another pretty good one. London coming back after 2
What
months.
do they look like?
Yeah, so they're coming back after 2 months of not playing Overwatch. And we're going to have to see, I think, how they do. Let's take a look at what their schedule is like. So the last time they played was against the Florida Mayhem on March 1st, where they won 3-2. This week they play against Chengdu and Guangzhou. I also believe, if I remember correctly, Jihoon is eligible. He turns 18 on May 8th. Tomorrow.
I believe I've
Tomorrow
been
or
hearing that.
Friday.
Sweet.
Look,
So
Isn't he like a ball one trick?
I don't know about one trick.
look,
don't-
Just what I hear. I
I'm not finished with this J Macaroons
Dude.
storyline.
put it in the
I-
grave.
I need
Let him
some
die in peace.
comic relief in my life. Like, and then again, we don't know how good Jihoon is. Maybe he's a revelation, and J-Mac was just like, the side
I
chick
hope
that
this
had to-
becomes. Okay, never mind. Continue with what you were saying. I'm interested to see where that goes because it's probably
No,
nowhere good.
just when you have a dry spell,
Uh-huh.
not that I'm a nerd. Let's be honest. I listen a lot to hip hop podcasts. They say cool shit there, and sometimes I try to take some, but then I really don't really live that, so I don't know where that's going. So J-Mac probably just played until Jihoon was 18. Is that?
I listen to podcasts. They say cool shit on those podcasts, and I'm
Did
trying
you
to say
say-
cool shit right now,
Did
but
you
it's not
say-
working.
Did you say hip hop podcasts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You listen to hip hop podcasts?
Yeah.
Weirdly, yeah, he's quite into hip.
God.
Joe Budden podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden.
Budden.
Joe Budden, yeah.
Learn something new about you.
We just
every
left.
day.
We just lost 6 viewers because of that. So.
Oh well.
Deserved.
And you're right too.
Deserved. We'll take it. We'll take the hit. Yeah. So I'm having a really tough time trying to
Piece these together.
to make any sort of actual argument about how well I think London will do.
Yeah, that's an unknown quantity. That is a shot in the dark. I mean, to be fair, look at the team sitting across from them though on that first match on Saturday. Is there another team that can be so obvious but so mysterious in their ways? You see Chengdu from a mile away. You've seen their matches, you've seen them play, but constantly you have no idea what Chengdu is going to show up on that day. No clue. So this feels like another 50-50. This feels like a Dallas Houston before we get to see the matches. I have not a clue on what Chengdu is going to show up. I have not a clue what they're going to play. And then you have London, who haven't played in 2 months. It'll be interesting. I'm definitely going to be interested to see it. I couldn't tell you which way this goes. Chengdu has performed well with double shields. London hasn't had playtime in 2 months. I don't. What do you say?
So London is not favored in either of their matches. 39% against Chengdu, 27% against Guangzhou.
Yeah, it's probably fair that they're not favored. They haven't played. You really don't know what you're gonna get. It'll be it'll be interesting regardless, right? Like, there's not much to say on them other than it feels like a new team. It feels like we're seeing what they've been doing in the 2 months that they've been in Korea. Maybe they've gotten significantly better. Maybe nothing's changed. It'll be another kind of I don't even know if you want to say case study. I'm absent for the words, but it'll be another study of looking at like an Atlantic team, how they play against those teams, and then playing, removing them and putting them in Asia. Interesting. It's not like completely conducive of trying to measure the two, but it's something. It's kind of interesting.
It's an Overwatch team. You're right.
Yeah, it is. It is an Overwatch team in the league.
Playing
All right, fair enough.
this weekend.
All right,
Yes.
let's just go through the matches then. I think those are all the big topics I had. So we'll just go through the individual matches, make our predictions, and make any points. First one, 2 weeks ago, I would have said would have been a banger. Not so much.
I think it still might be
anymore.
Hopefully.
Shanghai Dragons against the Seoul Dynasty, 78% Shanghai, 22% Seoul. By the way, for those, we always get the question, these are odds aggregated from oddsportal.net. We do not come up with these odds.
Yeah.
Stop making fun of us for making up these odds. If you listen to the show, you should know we didn't make them up by laughing at the odds for bad ones. Why would we make odds up that we laugh at? Anyways, sorry, we're digressing. Shanghai versus Seoul. Thoughts? Not all at once, guys. Not all.
I'm not sure that Seoul is as bad as everybody is painting them.
Oh no.
I don't know. But I don't think, and I will take responsibility for this, and I'll hold this L and use this as a learning tool, right? I don't know that 1 week is enough to swing either way. I was very bullish on Seoul after 1 week. I was very bullish on Chengdu after 1 week. I was also very down on Chengdu after 1 week. What we can glean from
what
Hero
I'm hearing from you is you can't be trusted. You're week to week. You're a pendulum.
My mystical orb of knowledge and tea leaf reading, it's not there. Hero Pools is, messed with the arcane energies that have, flow through the ley lines around me. It's just not there. 1 week is not enough time to really get an accurate reading of these teams. You need multiple weeks. Is it a good
Yeah.
thing that Seoul loses as hard as they did? Two teams that they probably shouldn't? Definitely not, right? Though, especially Spark. That's a gimme. I'm interested to see a big shift away from Echo if that actually is the case. I think that hero pools and top of a new hero that's very overloaded and is very strong, that is going to shift things very drastically. So I think you are going to get those big moves. Is Seoul going to beat Shanghai here? No. Will it look better? I think so. I think this will be much more. This will play within Seoul's wheelhouse a lot more. I think this will be closer than people gave them credit for, or people are going to give them credit for from their last week's performance. That's what I'll say.
Because they are so good on double shields comparatively. That's sort of like the pattern, right? We rated them on the first two matches that they played against. I think it was the LA teams, right? If I recall
Valiant and
correctly.
Gladiators. It's up on stream, by the way.
Yeah. Them having, I think back then it was double shield that was being played. And like we know Marvel has a Sigma and we know Gesture has an Orisa.
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, and I think it was, didn't they pull off like these window bab combos with like fire, like wasn't it Ryan double shield
Maybe?
even? I don't quite recall. I think there were some crazy combinations in there, but we know Gesture is a good Orisa, so that is the saving grace in that regard. And then yes, shifting away from EQO, I think it will, because this is almost feels like a meta optimum for Seoul. I think this will be close, but we've seen the class
It's
of
possible.
Shanghai where it's like it's probably going to be a 3-1 that feels like kind of close.
It'll feel much closer than it did last week, right? Like last week, Seoul didn't cap points. Like they didn't score. Not even like taking a map win. No, they just didn't score points.
Yeah.
They're 0-9. Like that's pretty rough.
You think it's gonna be? I don't know, man.
I think it'll look a lot closer. I don't think it'll be close. I think we'll start to see a shift back towards
if
okay, so maybe it's not that
is
bad.
They do above the bare minimum of showing up, I guess,
Sure.
which is basically what they did last week. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like if Seoul completely combusts this week, then we have to start asking questions because then it's systemic. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, not with high certainty, but
If they, I mean, again, in Shanghai, they have to show something. They have to look alive. If they don't look alive, they're not even scoring points. Granted, this is their only game this week, correct? Yeah. So I don't know if that's even like a good measurement to say if it's systemic or not, because this is such a dominant team. Like Shanghai is probably the best, or is at least in contention to be the best team in the world, next to the Philadelphia Fusion 1A 1B scenario. But is that really where you want to measure? Like if you can't, take a map off Shanghai, I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily where I draw that line. Maybe next week, week 15 might be more apt for that. Like if they just don't do anything versus Chengdu, then I'd start to, then I think we have like problems. Stuff's on fire. I can see the smoke then. But against Shanghai, I don't know if that's where I'd measure that.
Yeah, I think so we've talked about where we put San Francisco Shock, because chat has questions about Shock. Shock haven't really had to play against any of the tough teams, and even then they've struggled against some pretty bad teams, including losing against both LA teams. Not that they can't be, not that they can't or aren't, number 3, with a very obvious asterisk that we haven't seen them play in a high stakes match in maybe at all this season. I guess the Gladiators are their only matches with stakes, so it's just really tough to stay. Like if they had a match against the Fusion or NYXL or Shanghai, obviously, or Seoul, you could much more accurately gauge Shock. But the fact that they've lost 2 matches and dropped multiple maps to these teams that are bottom 10 just means that they're probably not there right now. That's probably it. So if we're not bringing that up, that is why. So all of us in agreement though for this one, Shanghai.
Yeah. I mean,
it'd be tough
how
to
could you
argue
not
that way.
at this point? Like,
Yeah.
that would just be. Yeah.
I'd need some absolute like ayahuasca. I don't even know. I don't know what I'd have to smoke to be able to to try and sell you soul.
Next one, Chengdu versus London.
Yo,
I really don't know. Like this one's
that's also a team
Okay.
in the Overwatch League.
both our teams in the Overwatch League. Let's are we laying out our parameters?
Yeah.
You have to be a team in the Overwatch League to play in this game. Check.
Yeah.
To Kenobi's credit, which he is, just sticking himself with a hot poker every 30 seconds in chat, it feels like. Yes. The meta as foreseen in the tea leaves, again, just kind of predicting what these hero pools or what these specific hero removals might see, or what we might see from them. Does this favor Chengdu in a way? It certainly does. Have they waffled in hero pools similar to this? They certainly have. I don't know. It depends on what team shows up. Do they field, Yvetel on Ana again? I couldn't tell you. Is Langsa playing? Who knows? McCree's in. If we assume McCree, does Bacon Jack play? Because you know who's going to be on that other side? Glister. And we've seen what Glister can do.
All right.
If that's the case, I don't know that I hate London.
Oh, God damn it. I was so looking forward to.
I don't hate London.
You going,
I don't know.
I think Chengdu and me going.
I don't feel strongly about this match at all, but if I had to pick which team is going to give me like consistent results, even that, like we haven't even seen him in 2 months. This is like 51% London for me. Like I don't know, man. Like this is so hard to tell.
Yeah.
Joe picks London. Yiska, you pick London.
I pick London simply because Chengdu looked cheeks, and I have some confidence in what Pavane can do with a roster with 2 months off time. We'll see how it goes, but then again, that entire story is also very, very strange, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, 51% London sounds good.
Yep.
Which 51% means if Chengdu wins, I will play it off as I said 51%. Now, if London wins, Kenobi, I'm coming for you, bro. Like this man. I'm sitting I'm sipping on my coffee. It's like Saturday morning. Chengdu's playing. I'm just like one cracked eye open, no involvement into whatever matches is going on, and it's just like this guy pops into my team's Discord channel and just goes, "Hey, Eileen is popping off," and leaves the Discord channel after. I'm like, what just happened?
It's like the verbal personification of running into a room with your shirt off, like swinging in the air, like
America. So we're just playing some darts here.
It feels like every map win that Chengdu gets, Kenobi has to just do a victory lap around the house.
Oh yeah, I remember when Joe used to be that in love with the Chinese region. It used to be Joe. Since then, he's
I'm good.
It's like a dirty wash rag. That's
Friendship canceled.
Yeah. All right. I say London as well. 55.
Oh, more bold.
Next one, NYXL 79, Guangzhou 21. Might be a tad high. I'd bring it down to like 74. I'd take 5 percentage points off, but sure, absolutely. Why wouldn't you pick NYXL right now?
That's a good question. I don't know why you wouldn't either. This team looks to be very well equipped. They look.
Pause.
I don't know. I don't know if even they are, bouncing back. I don't even know if that's the right way to frame it. You know what I'm saying?
They
look good.
They dropped a map to Chengdu. They dropped a map to Washington. and then they
Yeah.
lost to Fusion, and then they dropped the map to Spitfire. Otherwise, they've swept everybody.
Yeah. They've come back in Asia and they look good. And if we're going to continue to say that Asia is the better region, which I don't even know is true, I still think it is, but it's still kind of all over the place. Hero Pools again is one hell of a drug. NYXL looks good. I'm glad that they're again. I don't like framing it like they're back, but it feels like they're back. It feels like I'm getting the NYXL in season 1 and season 2. That feels like what I got last week. I think that's what NYXL is going to show up, and I think it's hard to beat that team. And I don't know. It's not that Guangzhou Charge is a bad team. This is just the NYXL like firing it on all cylinders.
Joe, remind me again. How I said they are.
Now
Going
they're
to start-
trying, of course.
How they're
Yes.
trying?
The
remind
sandbags
me
have
again?
been emptied.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think they play better now?
Maybe they've just improved.
Maybe they also don't play Who Are You in situations where it doesn't make
Yes,
sense.
maybe they've taken their nootropics and just beta blocked everything and are making intelligent decisions now. Maybe that's the case. I don't think it's we flipped a switch and now we're trying.
But now Who Are You is ready to play that Echo because he's been
Sure.
methodically built up to function as a human being
Sweet.
in a team environment.
Okay.
And now they look pretty good, right?
Sure. Yeah, I'd say so.
And who said they would look pretty good?
You did.
And what does that mean?
You're right.
Yeah? Can you repeat?
Yiska was correct for the wrong reason.
It's the right reason. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it.
Oh, jeez. All right.
I again,
Hey,
you're right.
hey.
They look better. They look improved. I don't think they're just magically trying now. That was my problem.
The Asian region is cracked. They have to try now.
And now, even before they weren't.
No, because they were playing in Atlantic Division against Boston Uprising and Washington Justice.
I buy
Wait, is it
I buy
Washington?
into the trying storyline,
I don't.
and I don't have a brain, so don't buy into this bullshit trying story. But it's true. They just started trying, and it's great to see NYXL try. All right. Next one. We got a lot to go through, and there's another thing I
Yeah.
want to talk about. So this one should be pretty easy. Shanghai versus Hangzhou, 83% Shanghai.
Yeah. Shanghai. There's really, yeah. Sorry, Spark. What will be interesting, maybe. There are free agents in the market. China's pretty close to Korea. China's known for having some money. Maybe.
Also, Titans
Also
players?
Charge. Yeah.
Titans players.
Please, bro. Just take it. Just take it. Doesn't matter. Everyone's playing Korea right now. Just take it. Just this season. And then next season. You can still activate Plan B. I'm sure you can figure something out. Please, bro. Just take it. Just go to China. Please.
Thank you.
This has been a public service announcement.
Yeah.
Everybody got that? No, me either. All right, great. Cool. Yeah. Next one. London versus Guangzhou.
This is going to be another one of those where it's like, if London does look okay versus Chengdu, like it could be interesting, but on its face, I feel like Charge is the favorite here. For good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. All right.
Yeah. It's not that exciting, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Again, it's interesting, exciting, maybe not the word.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see what London looks like. Maybe they've pulled up NYXL too. Maybe now they're trying. Maybe now they're not playing JMac and feeding every game. It's possible, right?
We don't have enough time, but at some point we got to talk about Miro's career path and how this
Sure.
kid is cracked now.
Mhm.
Where to the point where I'm sitting there trying to slot Tuxel into a team, and I feel like you don't need to with
No.
charge.
Oh, Charge
And that
is
is nuts.
well equipped, which is weird to say because you want Hoxel. I don't think anybody would be mad at moving Hoxel to their team, but if there was a team you wanted to move it there, I don't know that it is Charge. Like you said, like Nero is slept on to this day.
Yeah.
So now that we took a look at the Asia region for the weekend, let's take a look at Eric. First of all, a huge round of applause for Eric on putting this together here.
Thank you.
But he took a little time and put together some projections for the seeding for the Asia region based on results and some projections based on map win loss records from teams in that region. So if things shake out as we kind of planned them to, Seoul Dynasty are going to walk away with a 7th seed in APAC because they just lost 0-3 and 0-3.
Yeah,
Then they play Shanghai, which presumably shouldn't be
that shouldn't. Yeah,
much different. And then they play Chengdu. So they might walk away with a win against Chengdu.
Mhm.
Their projected map win rate is 0.207. So maybe picking up 2.
Yeah.
So really interesting to see there. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the other ones. Shanghai are projected to do really well. NYXL are also projected to do quite well. Guangzhou and Hangzhou in the 3rd and 4th slot. It's interesting because Hangzhou has to play NYXL in London, which it kind of drops them a little bit, right? So it's really interesting. It's a really cool thing to look at. But that plays out really interestingly when we look at the potential bracket, which I think we're looking at right now to be here. So, yeah, I think that's right. So, hey, did Yiska just post on our cow?
Yeah, it was a
During the
beautiful
show.
cow. Do we have a bracket breakdown? Because my stream somehow froze, I think. Let's see.
In the spreadsheet that we show
Oh, yeah, we
every
do.
week
Oh, sweet.
in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
brackets. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to talk about the NA bracket in a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, so the bracket right now is... So it would be Seoul versus... Yeah, Seoul versus Hung... I don't know. No. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
You can see,
I mean,
where we are.
It'll be. I think the upper side of the bracket with Spark and Charge, depending on who they play, like it'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Shanghai obviously sitting above the pack.
The
York.
first round teams draft the opponent. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll have to see.
All right. Let's go to the NA side.
Mhm.
And take a look. We're going to go through these a little bit faster, I think. Number 1, Paris Eternal versus the LA Gladiators. 58% in favor of the LA Gladiators.
I don't know. This one looks good. This
This
one,
is a good match.
I
Please deliver.
fucking hope this is a good match.
Yeah.
I'm in need of some good Overwatch.
Yeah, I need that for my soul.
For real. I need some.
Do some healing. Oh, do it now for us. Bring it. Force the devil out. Overwatch gameplay. Force it out.
Are you
Can we-
performing an exorcism live on stream?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also watching. You know, what's this guy's name? The preacher,
Tell
the
me.
guy that looks like actually a demon, but John would know. You probably
I don't-
liked him at some point in his
I
life.
know, but the guy who is the televangelist who's praying out
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. See, this is how it goes.
This is how the show ends, by the way. I'm so sorry, chat.
Oh man. The COVID.
You didn't
bastard.
sign up for this. You just wanted some good, wholesome Overwatch League conversation instead.
Look.
You get Yiska blowing in your ear.
Look, it's rough out there.
It is rough out there. Anyways, I would love
That
for this
being
to
said,
be close.
Paris Glad should be good.
Should be
hopefully.
good. I'm still sticking with Glads.
Hey, do we know if Xy's gonna be back?
I guess we don't.
Does anybody have any info on that? I don't know. If we're assuming that he's not, yeah, I'd have to say Glads as
Xe
well.
is
But
not
if
back.
Xy's not back, he's
End
still in
of
Korea.
May. Look at our chat.
Yeah, that is
So
tough.
smart.
That is rough.
I was thinking a bit about this. I also wrote an article on this. How sick would it be if Paris got Twilight?
Oh,
Just chef's ah.
that is a spicy meatball.
Just think. Hanbin, Xe,
Mm-hmm.
and Nico that looks pretty good on May. Sparkle, FD God,
Mm-hmm.
and Twilight. Now, if they can do anything about that main tank, that has potential to be a super team. Now, the problem is that this implosion of the Titans freed up a main tank, a good one, but also someone who would be on this sixth team now. So, at some point, also they have two main tanks, of course.
Yeah. No Smite,
So,
no Semity.
Yeah.
It actually didn't look bad. You know, to his credit, he didn't look bad last week on Winston.
yeah,
He didn't look
but
horrible.
how often are we going to see Winston Overwatch this season?
Not often. Exactly.
Yeah.
Case in point.
Yep.
So even when he is available, I wouldn't put my money on, no Smite performing well. So
All right.
you do.
Next one. Washington Justice versus Third Impact. I mean, Second Wind. Nice one on that. No odds on this one. I wonder why. I don't know, man. I kind of hope that they just come in and beat Washington Justice.
This
Just-
is such a lose-lose either way. This is like beating up old people. It's like, cool, you
In
beat
what
up an
way?
old person. Great job. You did it, bud. Like, you really kicked that old guy's butt. But if the old guy beats you up, it's like, dang, dude, you lost to an old guy. Like, that sucks.
Yeah.
How you going to lose to Wrinkle McGee over there? Come on.
I mean, it's still a contenders team, dude. I don't
That's
think
what I'm
it's that
saying.
bad.
It's like you really should, like, if the Overwatch League is supposed to be the pinnacle
Okay, I
of
see.
Overwatch
I see.
esports,
You mean at the
and they're
see,
losing,
my brain is already Washington is the old guy, so that's
this
when
is
the
like-
metaphors get stuck.
this is the lose-lose match of the century. Like, nobody wins here. If Vancouver wins, they're just, holding on for dear life at this point. If Washington wins, it's like, you did it. You beat up on a contenders team. Great job.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I'm just gonna say Vancouver for the fun of it.
I'd hope.
Okay.
I hope so, but also
Okay. Let me
I don't even know the
think of this
roster.
really quick. There's some volatile stuff to that. Because I think I know the roster.
Mm-hmm. I'll go. I'm saying Justice. I'll say Justice. Everything, all of my formal arguments tell me to pick the Justice. We've seen the Justice. They're not a brand new team. Like, I can't. There's nothing in me that wants to say the Vancouver Titans. I don't also want to say the Justice, but Corey's a good player, so I'll say Justice. I think Justice is an Overwatch League team. They have practiced. Vancouver, they're signing a whole new roster. It is what it is.
Come on, YOLO.
What are you gonna do?
Vancouver.
Let's go! Woo!
YOLO.
Let's go! Yes. All right. Next one. I think this one might be deceptively interesting. Houston Outlaws
Could
versus
be.
the Atlanta Reign.
Definitely could be.
26% Houston, 74% Atlanta.
I think this is going to be another one of those games that Houston's going to have a hard, or maybe not a tough time breaking into. But again, I think they're going to show, I think they're going to be one of those teams that play dive. And I think they're going to look very good against an Atlanta team that has the meta kind of playing in their favor. So this will actually be a statement win for me if Houston can actually turn it out. That being said, that's a lot of if statements. So my head says Atlanta here. I think Houston will make it deceptively close though.
All right. Eddie, Yiska?
Yeah, I think it's closer than the odds certainly suggest. I'm not sure if we're not going the route of underrating the Reign a little bit just because of an upset against the Valiant, who admittedly just had a nuts performance as well. But then again, like Houston, if this is dive somehow, maybe. If this is double shield, Houston's also not that bad at that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is, I think, 60-40 Atlanta.
I'd agree with that.
All right.
And to Houston's point though, like going back and looking at their match against the Fuel, I want to say like 2 weeks ago, that was a meta that did not favor them, and they still found a way to make that game like way closer than I think people expected it to, especially after what we saw that previous day with how much Ryan was being played. It's not something I necessarily want to see Houston kind of pilot. They had their own way to approach the meta, and they still drew that a lot closer than it needed to be. So there's a lot of ways Houston can make this a great game.
Yeah. Next one, Valiant versus Boston.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Valiant.
If you don't know,
Yeah, I don't think.
then you don't know.
Yeah.
79% Valiant on that one, by the way. Philadelphia Fusion versus Dallas Fuel. Fusion favorites 75-25.
Could be fun. I don't know if close is the word. Could be fun.
Dallas, Dallas just has there's fun players to watch on Dallas.
Yeah.
They seem to be able to put up a fight. But yeah, it's going to be Philly.
Yeah, I don't think Dallas is as bad as everybody made them out to be. I still don't think that they're that bad. Philly, though, again, just a different level. So,
yeah,
could be explosive. Going to have a lot of fun DPS to watch. Doha, Decay, EQO, Ivy, Carpe, you name it. Hisu. There's a lot of fun to be had here. I think it's going to be very fun, but maybe we won't have as much time as we'd like with this match. So we'll see.
Shock versus Defiant, 83% Shock.
Yeah, that's a shock.
And then Titans versus Mayhem. I think Mayhem win this one here, but
I don't know that there's a way that Mayhem loses this.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked.
I would say I do say though that I do think that Titans walk away 1-1 this week.
Yeah,
it's
I
possible,
hedging
right?
your bets.
It is very possible.
Yo, real talk.
I can't argue that though.
You guys have a pretty good understanding based on what has been reported on where the relative power or what kind of a player you can expect here, right? So it's a true tier 2 NA scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that actually beats up to Florida Mayhem, we might have a bigger problem on our heads, lads. Like this.
Now, to be fair, this has been an ongoing narrative, especially on this podcast, that we've constantly said there are contenders teams that will beat Overwatch League teams 100 games out of 100 games, right? There are teams that are just flat out better. It was last season, it was the season previous, and now it's this season. The argument that Yiska's providing, YouTube chat, is that how far up that goes might be a little bit more deceptive than what we're kind of foreseeing. I think everybody could probably assume Boston Uprising probably not doing so great against, the top of tier 2, especially in North America, let alone outside of that. If the Florida Mayhem, who a lot of people assume was going to be a mid-pack team, and they look like it right now, at the very least. Lose to tier 2. That's a whole lot of teams up that list that are now in question. That's the argument. Correct me if I'm wrong, Yiska. Is that kind of not what you were referring to?
Yeah. So, it's. You also saw the Hafikul tweet, right? And he said the top 3 NA teams could feasibly win against the bottom half of the Overwatch League. And I think there's also like something to be said about Old Envy coming in.
Sure. Yeah.
That should be considered. There's a thing about Third Impact. Like they are, like, you know, I'm not sure if you want to take on a full team, honestly.
Sure,
I'm not sure if at that caliber of team, because like Runaway was very likely going to be a good team in the Overwatch League. We didn't know how dominant they were, but like they were definitely going to be like top 5 somewhere there, right? That is not the situation here. So I would mix and match here, and crucially, I want to know who the coaches are. That's actually the thing that's
kind of almost more important.
Yeah, because we definitely see that some teams overachieve based on the coaches that and the names of the players, and the players themselves get better because they are with these coaches. And we also see teams underachieve based on coaching staff. So this is, about that, I don't know anything. And that is a big question mark in my thinking, where I'm like, okay, maybe we could just, see how this develops. Of course, first week, like it's not like this is all handled at this point, and like they've been scrimming for 3 weeks or anything together in this new formation. Nope, that's not going to happen. So or didn't happen. So we gotta see how that works, right?
Yep.
All right, you guys want to know something interesting?
Shoot.
All right. Check this out. I'm looking at the projected seeds for NA.
Gotcha.
And Florida Mayhem right now, assuming that Vancouver are not as good as we expect them to be. They play the Justice after that. Florida could steal a second seed.
Yep. Strength of schedule. Florida's gonna get put in for May Madness. They probably won't win with like whatever bye they get. I think the bracket shows them getting a first round bye.
Yep.
Do they really deserve a first round bye? I don't know. Strength of schedule. If they were to play every team like Asia's playing, correct me if I'm wrong, every team, if not most, they probably don't need a first round bye. They probably should be first rounders, but because they're playing against weaker opponents, they are bumped up. So don't let me catch anybody saying, Florida Mayhem got 4th in the May Madness. I don't think they're a bad team.
I will say this though, something interesting is that the Valiant are projected for 7th right now, but they do play Boston and Toronto.
Yeah, 2 gimme games. They should be.
Could be, and they beat the Reign.
They beat Atlanta. Yeah, I think that's probably why they're up there.
Yeah, like it's could be really interesting. Whereas, man, there's the Houston Outlaws did not have a good. Imagine this before Titans fell apart. They would have played San Francisco, Atlanta Reign, Vancouver Titans. Oof. Big oof. So looking at how the bracket plays out, we're looking at, it's a big bracket. Makes sense. I like this. You see the Washington Justice and the Boston Uprising in the qualifier. Shock first seed. Makes sense. And just a smattering of games. Interesting to see Atlanta potentially 6th seed. We'll have to see.
Yeah. They're not a lock for much of anything right now.
Yeah.
If you 3-2 against Valiant, who again, they may have overperformed, maybe Atlanta underperformed, maybe it's, a little bit of A, a little bit of B. Houston's not going to go down without a fight, and then you got Shock. Like, that's a tough schedule. And then to Shock's credit, they also kind of have a relatively easy schedule, but that's probably more due to the fact that they're a really good team.
Yep.
Houston, Toronto are kind of gimmies, but Atlanta, like, not a bad team, but this is the Shock we're dealing with. So
It is.
maybe an improvement for the future. Maybe extend these qualifier games a little bit more so we don't have such a drastic strength of schedule modifier. Maybe would be the word.
I mean,
three games is really, it really depends on who you're playing.
if we're doing this though 3 or 4 times in the next 4 months, like I think it becomes less of a thing, right?
What do you mean?
Like, it becomes less of a deal. Like, yes, it sucks that you had a bad strength of schedule for this month-long tournament. The next month-long tournament, you have a, you can have a better one.
Yeah, maybe you get a different dice roll. Maybe you get, a strong or a weaker strength of schedule to kind of push you up. But I don't know. I just like the matches to be extended out a little bit more. I don't think it just needs to be the first 3 weeks. Like, why not just make it like the whole month of qualifiers, and then at the very end, at the end of the month, then you have your tournament to really get these out. Because again, I don't think anybody's saying that. I don't think anybody's going to be arguing that the Florida Mayhem should be placed above the Philadelphia Fusion, and I don't think many people would argue that the Shock should be placed over the Fusion, at least at this point. So if we're going to kind of talk about improvements for the monthly tournament system, I'd like to see that extended out a little bit more. Not griping. I'm still super excited about it. I'm interested to see these teams play, but strength of schedule is going to skew some things that probably shouldn't be skewed. So I'd like to see this. And if Mayhem, and again, put my hands up here, if Mayhem can come out and start bodying people and secure 3 extra wins, like, imagine a world where Mayhem wins this. Maybe they're just bad at hero pools. Maybe they're a sick team. They get 3 extra wins on their record.
Just need a little time.
What a story.
Find their mojo.
I'd love for that to happen. That'd be sick.
Never doubted.
Do I think that's gonna happen?
Or BKB.
Oh, no.
Never doubted them. Yeah.
It's true.
All right. We need to get out of here. Fun show. By the way, chat,
Yes.
stick around. We're going to do a post episode after this. You can lurk as well to, help us keep those concurrents high. Please and thanks. But yeah, big thanks to everybody who hung out at chat today. And thank you to everybody who subbed. We're going to do a thing where we're going to thank new subs at the end of the show so that they get to be thanked everywhere. Because we thank iTunes reviews and we thank patrons. Why shouldn't we thank new subs? So,
True.
big thank you to Shut Up Bleak, Unco, Boohow, Fredino, 69, Your Misery, Drixus, Pin to Paper, Sickles, and Foolish. Thank you all so much for your support. We really appreciate it. It's not too late. I can't say I can't say it. I need to keep the clean tag. I'm sorry.
Can you?
But thank you.
I don't
but thank
think legume should be believed.
Yeah.
You don't think what?
I mean, it's just like a food. The other one, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. But
You think
the other way
it's a
you're
food?
thinking.
No, the first
You think
word.
is a food? What are you eating? Are you eating nuts or
I eat peanut. I eat those, but
I also do, but I'm allergic to nuts, so I can only eat one of those.
All right. Jeez.
oh, you can't say that. You're supposed to bleep.
Yeah, jeez.
It's a joke.
Oh man. All right. Anyways, thank you everybody. If you want to support the show, here's a great way to do that. Number 1, subscribe on Twitch or watch the show live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Pacific. Friday is Spike Drop. Monday, Wednesday is Tactical Crouch. Help us keep those concurrents up so we can get partner hopefully sooner rather than later, because these emotes that we're getting are amazing, and I want to commission Jessica to do more of them because they're really good.
So good.
They're really good. Second thing is leave or go to Patreon, and you can sign up there, support us on a monthly basis. A lot of people ask, like, what's the best way to support you, like financially? Where do you get the most money from? The answer is like directly donating to the stream, because that just goes straight to PayPal. So there's like a 3% or 1% or whatever takeout from that. And then the second best one is Patreon. So patreon.com/tacticalcrouch is an amazing way to support from that perspective. And with that in mind, we do want to thank our patron producers, Battlecrab Pin, Lolshin, Charlie L, Audio Compass, Porkchop Sammy, Kasha67, Coochie Kopi, Shara Picasso, Nathan Manure, Misery. Appreciate you a ton. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Another great way to support the show for free is just to leave a 5-star iTunes review. Do so, and we shall thank you on the show. All right, that's going to do it. Yiska, shout-outs for the week. Where can people find you?
As always on GJ Recon, I'm used a little bit. I alluded to it on the show. It's currently out, released just about a couple of minutes ago. Basically trying to find new homes for these amazing players of the Vancouver Titans and trying to make the best of the situation. I think there are some teams that really, like, basically everyone on the that was released, possibly with the exception of Stitch, and I don't want to be an ass there, but it's hard to place him. But like all those players should have spots in the Overwatch League if teams can find the resources, and it's also a buyer's market at the moment. So with those prices being significantly down, and then hopefully players being still willing to compete in this, maybe they will probably necessarily have to take a cut simply because of the market realities. But I think there's some great teams. As I talked about, Twilight to Paris, like Charge has an amazing opportunity here. Just check out the piece I laid out all out there. It's actually 2 pieces. The other one released on Sunday, but that's also linked in the first one. And how about you, Joe? What do you got coming up?
Yeah, you can find me on all the socials at Volamel. That's at VOLAMEL. This week, sometime within the next couple of days, I believe, gonna have some early meta reads on the old Valorant and how some of those professional teams are, picking their agents, what they're tending to do, what they're tending to buy. There's another team that has caught my eye that will probably be for next week. I won't spoil exactly who that is, but picking some weird stuff. So I'm excited to kind of sit down and really figure out what they're about. But in the Overwatch space, gonna want to talk about Valiant and their run. The May Madness tournament's definitely on the horizon. Super excited for that. Very jazzed. I think we've mentioned this before, but seeing a team like the Mayhem, come in and doing relatively, not, I wouldn't say poorly, but being a little rough around the edges during hero pools, and then having the opportunity, with their strength of schedule to kind of come out and kind of not save their season, but really impact their season with May Madness is a storyline that definitely is out there. And then obviously, the due diligence with the Titans, you're going to be talking about them and voicing some opinions on that. So that'll be on the lookout for that probably this weekend.
Okay.
And yeah, that's
we'll gotta see what we do. I mean, we're not a preemptive planning fiends as we know, because we tend to do these game nights in the very last week of the question. Maybe this time we can plan ahead and see where this is.
It's a fresh month. Anything's possible.
Yeah, but otherwise, just like, of course, we got an amazing episode coming up on Monday.
Yes,
Christopher.
Episode 100.
Yeah,
and I think he also had, like, he sometimes talks on Discord, the discord.me/Discord, and he had an interesting take on just like how Path to Pro could work. Maybe we can talk with him about that. on the show.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing episode. I think every episode has been bomb that he was on, and really looking forward to it.
Most definitely.
Yeah. As for me, you can find me everywhere at Kick Tripod. Not streaming right now because I don't want to pull down the concurrence on the channel. Yeah. But yeah, everywhere at Kick Tripod. And yeah, that's it. Chat, thanks again for hanging out. We're going to be right back for a brief post show, and then we're going to get out of here. See you guys next time. Bye.